Hi everyone. I want to spend just 2 or 3 minutes with you sharing the process of addressing rust on your power wheelchair. This is the same idea as taking care of your vehicle so that it'll last for you and be a good servant in taking care of your day-to-day life. So the first part in addressing rust is cleaning the wheelchair. So you're wanting to get the salt, sand, oil, dirt, and whatever else has built up on your wheelchair off of it so you have a clean surface to work with. The next part of this is giving it a really good sand. This is so that the paint will adhere to it. I have a really high quality breathing respirator that I wear when I'm doing chores like this. You need to have something to protect your lungs, and you also need your tetanus shot up to date, so if any rust does get into you, it's not going to make you really sick. It's much more important to be safe than to rush through this process. So this is a picture of the respirator that I wear, and you can see the big cartridges on it that cleans the air as I breathe it in. The next part of this is similar to if you're painting inside your home. You want to block off where you don't want paint to go. So I used spray paint for the wheelchair, both primer and black. You'll get overspray if you don't block it off areas that should not get paint completely. So I used a combination of tape and paper to block off these areas so the job still looks good and professional. The job of actually putting the paint on is the straightforward process. You want to do a few light coats with about a minute between sort of going along. So let me say this differently. I would give between 10 and 15 minutes between each coat for the trim clad paint that I was using. To avoid runs is why I would give like a minute between the sprays, just to make sure the job is crisp and clean when completed. Now technically, a run is going to give more protection to your wheelchair. So what I'm thinking about here has to do with the look of it when it's finished. So I used both the primer and then the black paint. So you need to be able to give up your wheelchair for about 5 hours. So that's time to apply the primer coat, time to apply the color, and then you need to keep it where the venting is good so you're not going to be breathing in the fumes while the paint dries. I have a backup manual wheelchair that I use with stuff like this and when my power wheelchair needs maintenance. And maybe it's something that you have access to, or a friend will come over and you do this just before bed, and then the wheelchair is good to go in the morning. Give a little bit of thought about what you can do so you don't have to breathe in the fumes of the paint. The other thing that I'll mention is make sure that you watch the appropriate temperature for applying the paint, and this is so that it will adhere correctly. So you don't want to do it when it's too hot or too cold, and you want the job to last. So taking that extra precaution for the temperature is worth it, even if it means that you're waiting until another day to do it. One other practical tip I'd mention to you is maybe you need to have a tarp sit over top of the wheelchair while it's drying if there's rain in the forecast it's really important that you follow the manufacturer's guide that's on the spray paint. And if you have any questions, you ask the staff where you buy the paint. Ultimately, you're taking care of your wheelchair so it will last for you in the long run. This wasn't a hard job to do. It's just staying on top of it so the wheelchair will last and be able to help me with my life. Thanks so much for this time that you spent with me today. Bye for now.